with breaking news from the Supreme Court of Canada. The country's top judges have just handed down a major decision about who's allowed to make generic prescription drugs. It has serious implications for provincial health care costs, for taxpayer money, and for what you will have to shell out the next time you need medication. James Fitzmaurice joins me live from the Supreme Court in Ottawa. So what's the decision, James?
It's a unanimous decision upholding Ontario's ban on pharmacies basically having their own in-house generic drug companies and selling those drugs to consumers. This is one of the measures Ontario has brought in the last several years. Since 2007, Ontario has been trying to dramatically reduce the amount it is spending on prescription drugs for the people under its care. It has changed the way that basically commissions were handed out. After that practice was banned, pharmacies, including Shoppers Drug Mart, the parent companies also of Rexall and others, launched bids to create their own drug manufacturers that they would then sell themselves. Ontario called that an anti-competitive move, an effort to keep prices artificially inflated and ban the practice. The pharmacies brought the province to court, saying that this was an infringement on their right to conduct its business. However, the Supreme Court today rejected that argument entirely, saying that this is a regulated industry, that the province is within its bounds. Now, the High Court isn't commenting on the effectiveness of these measures. It isn't going to say whether or not Ontario's moves will actually reduce prices. It does, however, have some criticism, thinly veiled criticism of the pharmacies. It says in its ruling, referring to the totemic efforts by the provincial government to keep drug costs down. It also notes that, quote, each time the government has introduced new measures, market participants have changed their business practices to obviate and the restrictions and keep prices high. So it is a unanimous decision, as I say, completely rejecting the pharmacies. This ruling only affects Ontario right now. However, a number of provinces are looking at Ontario's model and trying to decide if they want to bring it in themselves.
So how could this then affect drug costs across the country?
Well, certainly the theory is, Ontario's justification for it is that driven by the desire for profits, the pharmacies are overinflating what the prices of these prescription drugs, price ultimately borne by insurance companies or the province for the most part. So it has taken these measures, as I say, banning the use of essentially commissions, a scheme that used to be in place, now saying that pharmacies can't buy prescription drugs from themselves because there's no incentive to keep prices low in that case. A number of provinces, as I mentioned, were looking at this, waiting to see if Ontario whether its scheme would be accepted, whether it would pass the constitutional tests set out before it, and it has. The Supreme Court has done that. As I say, the Supreme Court doesn't make reference to any other province, but provinces that wish to adopt this kind of model could take Ontario's example and copy-paste it, for lack of a better word, and move forward without fear of it being overturned in the High Court.